What's up, fam? I'm gonna be eating one of these. Hey, what's going on? This is Jaron Brown coming to you on a Monday, coming with your business matters. Um, Hopefully help you succeed in your business and give you what any insights that I may have with regards to business. Um, I was talking to I had a video, I think it was I don't know, maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about how do you generate business, as far as a contractor, how do I get my business and what I do. And I kind of like went through the steps as far as how I generate my business and so forth. So I'm just going to like recap with that again. People say, well, Darren, where do you get your business? Well, it's taken years for me to get to the point where I am. And most of it is, referral. But a lot of my business is, you got to let people who need your services know who you are. You have to make yourself available. You have to make yourself accessible. You have to let people know, hey, if I need a contractor, who do I call, right? So who do I go to? Most people think because I'm a contractor or I'm in insurance that the phone's just going to be jumping off the hook because they're going to be jumping off the hook. And that's not necessarily true, because you're going to have, hundreds, if not thousands of people that got the same license as you do. What's going to separate you from everybody else? And so what separates you from everybody else is the things that you do to separate yourself from everybody else. And so one of the things I had to learn early in my career is, how do I get myself out there known to people who can use my services? What do I need to do? Because it's a very meet and greet kind of thing. People call it network. That's fine. That's a term that's been universally used and it's good. But it's one thing in networking and going and having a social drink and happy hour and doing that and walk away with no leads, no conversation other than you may have a buzz, right? So you got to be careful when you go to happy hour and when you go into network hour or whatever, as far as what you're going to be generating in terms of business leads and so forth. And so one of the things that I do as a contractor, when I'm going out, I try to, one of my target audiences are architects. I try to go to architects because they're the one who design the properties, and they not necessarily don't build them. Not to say they can't, but they need people who's going to be reliable. They can build their masterpiece, so to speak. And so you try to build a relationship with architects because they meet the client first. And then that client's going to probably ask them, who do you have to kick and build this? And you hope that you're probably, if not the one that they're talking about, or at least in the top three. So if that client says, hey, do you have any contractors? That architect may turn around and say, hey, I have 3 that you can talk to or you can interview that has worked with my projects, and yada, 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 yada. So that gives you a foot in the door. All right, so that's with me as a contractor. You go through that, you do your things that you have to do, and you make yourself available to those architects. You got structural engineers out there. Structural engineers is another source. They may be doing something that's not quite a complete build, but in fact is a build where they need a contractor to do the work that they're doing, the structural work. And that's what I do. I do mostly structural work. So kind of like specialize in that anyways. Okay. Then you have your realtors, you have your brokers, you have the homeowners who's looking for contractors to build in addition or their house or whatever. So those are things that you get yourself out there, you get yourself known. You wear the uniform, what I call, you wear the uniform. So when I'm out there in the field, there's a 99% chance that you're gonna see me in my Darmac shirt. You're going to see me in my Brightway shirt. You're going to see me something that's representing what I do. Just like if you was going to McDonald's, the person is going to have a McDonald's shirt. She's not going to have a Burger King shirt on. She's not going to have a shirt on that they're going to wear on a Friday night. They're letting you know that this is who I am, this is what I do, and so forth. So you have that connection. Too many times people go into business and they're right and you don't know what they do. They could be standing in front of you. They could be in construction. They could be this, that, and the other, and you don't know because they're not identifying themselves. So you must be able to be in a position to identify yourself so people can know what you do for a living. There's been times that people have seen my truck. They got the number off the truck. They've seen my shirt. They see me. I may be in a store or whatever. People stand behind you. They're taking down mental notes, taking a picture of your shirt. You don't even know. So those are things that help you. If it gets you 1 deal, 2 deals, or even a conversation, it's worth it, right? So You just have to kind of like know how not to keep what you do for a living a secret. Continue to market yourself, be professional about it. If you don't know something, don't try to be a jack of all trades. I'm not saying you can't know more than one or two things. Of course you can. But what I'm saying is that make sure you're a student of that before you start giving that information out. Okay. Um, Another thing too, what I try to do is you got to be time management. Time management is a big part of your business. Don't waste a lot of time because we don't have it. That's one thing that everybody has an equal of as far as time. You have 24 hours. How you use it is totally is really paramount for your survival of your business. You can't really waste it. You can't start your day at 10, 11 o'clock. You don't care what time you go to bed. You got to get up and get on that daily grind. You have to be out there in the faces, making sure you're making boss moves, taking the steps to get you in a position to win. People think just because you're an entrepreneur, you're self-employed, I can get up anytime I want. That may be true, but the thing about it, you're gonna miss out on a lot of things between the hours from 6:30 to 10 or 6:30 to 11 because you're sleeping or you're just getting your day started, or because you got that that moniker that, oh, I'm self-employed, I can do whatever I want to. Wrong way to think. All right. So time management, give yourself a daily log, write things down, things that you want to do. Because when you write it down, it's like you committed to it. You write down, hey, I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And then by the end of the day, and you got 20 items and you just only did 5, then you failed. You need to reevaluate that. What went wrong? Why was I, overconfident, or was I wasting a lot of time on my phone, texting, Facebook, this, that, and the other, where I didn't do the things that I needed to do? So that's going to hold you accountable for your success. Okay. So you keep a data log. You don't have to do it all the time until you get a system where it comes automatic, for you. So I keep a daily log when I'm doing like bigger projects that has a time frame, because I want to make sure that, if something goes wrong, and I talked about this before, if I'm on a critical path of a job, I need to know if it rained on Monday or Tuesday, whether I could have a full day or whatever. So 3 months from now, I can go back to that daily log and say, hey, listen, we had 1 week of rain when nobody worked, so you can't really count that against me. So you're preparing your argument for the stuff that can go down the road down the line. So that's from a contractor standpoint. So I'm just giving you newbies out there that kind of sense of thing that I'm talking about. Okay. I mentioned you dressed the part. Dress the part, dress the profession, depending on your career. I mean, like for me, I'm in construction. Sometimes like construction, I have my jeans, I have my boots, I have my shirt, I have my hard hat, whatever things that I need in order for me to say, hey, this is what I do. When I'm doing insurance, I have my shirt. It identifies me, my slacks or whatever the case may be. And so when I'm talking to a person, they're able to identify what I'm talking to them about. And then we have that question and answer period. Okay. So your license is what you do in order for you to make a living. I mean, you go and study and you do take your practice exams, you do all that, and it's a proud moment when you pass that exam. I mean, I get it. You did everything you had to do. You had the crams, the midnight hours, whatever. Now it's time to make money. Now you have to do that because your test does not teach you those things. You have to do that on your own. You have to figure that out on your own. And so either you find you a mentor who's willing to sit down with you and go over the things with you as far as the do's and the don'ts, and then you take those do's and don'ts and you implement in your daily life, and then you just continue to move. All right. If you don't know something, humble yourself and then just listen. Be a good listener. That's one of the things that I did early on in my life. I started listening and being a student and not figuring out, because if I want to get somewhere, I got to find a person who's already there. And so they can show me the ropes and cut out a lot of the time and the mistakes that I'm going to make on the road, because you are going to make mistakes. But if somebody can minimize those mistakes for you, then you have a chance to win. Okay. So, yeah. And another thing. And then, and finally, because I don't like these videos to be too long. That's pretty good. I don't like the videos to be long because, y'all got attention span, right? And all right. Is stand out your way. don't put limitations on yourself, because at the end of the day, the limitations is what's going to prevent you from getting where you want to go. A lot of times I run into people who are limiting themselves because they're scared. I won't say they have a fear factor. They only can do so many projects, or they only can do a certain price range, or they something like that. And I'm like, why are you limiting yourself? Your license never tells you that you're limited to do something. Your license give you free range to do whatever. So you put your limitations on yourself, like, oh, I only can do, 200. I'm only comfortable with $200,000 house, or I'm a contractor. I'm only comfortable with doing, $50,000 projects. Okay, that's all well and good if you got a niche that you want to do. If you're a realtor and you got a niche, whether it's condos or whether it's vacant lots or whatever, you got a niche. I get it. All right, you want to attack that particular market. I'm talking to the ones that don't have a niche. I'm talking about the ones that say, here's my license, let me go and see what I can do. And then you got people who are scared of numbers. I know it sounds crazy. You got people that are scared of dollars, the extra zero that may be on the commission check or whatever, because they feel that they're not worthy of it. They feel like they're not, they're not there yet, or they don't belong. And what I'm telling you is that not only do you belong, you are deserving of it. Because if you have gone out there and did all the things that you need to do, you have marketed yourself, you have taken the extra classes, you have, network, you have built that book of business, then why can't you get the rewards from it, right? You need to be able to get the rewards from it. So I just want to leave you guys with that. I said, don't be afraid of the big numbers just as much as you're not afraid of the small numbers. Don't limit yourself and say, hey, you know what, that $1 million project I can't do because of whatever excuse you want to give, that people don't want to work with you. People want to work with people who know what they're doing. Bottom line. You're going to have people that want to work with people for what other reason, but the most, being in business for as long as I have, people want to work with people who know what the hell they're doing. Simple. Okay? So if you're that person, then you're going to be in business for a long time. But if you're that person, think, okay, I'm just going to go out there and make money, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to chill, I'm going to relax, I'm going to do that, then you are sadly mistaken. People don't want to work with that because you're not being accountable, you're not being responsible, you're not being responsible for the people that you may hire, you're not doing any of that. Yes, you're going to make mistakes. Yes, things are not going to go, you're going to have to put out some fires and all that kind of stuff. Anybody who's in business knows that. But for the most part, people want to work with people who, one, that are accountable, who's going to do what they say they're going to do, who's going to follow up, who's not going to make excuses. And then if you're that person, then money is never going to be a problem. Your deals is never going to be a problem because you're going to come as advertised, okay? So just want to give you a little business tip today. And in closing, hey, become a mentor. Become someone's mentor. Teach what you know to the next person so that person can teach somebody else and that person can teach somebody else, okay? So with that being said, go by the block.